Hi everyone, this is Ms. Rogel, and in this video we are going to be looking at the midpoint formula. This is the second part of benchmark 1.1. Alright, so let's start by looking at this line. Here we have 2, and over here we have 8, and we want to find the point right in the middle. So we know that we can just take the average. 2 plus 8 gives us 10. And then we can do 10 divided by 2, which gives us 5. 5 is this point right in the middle. We know that's true because this distance is 3, and the distance from 5 to 8 is also 3. Alright, so now we're going to look at 2 points on a graph. We're going to try and find the midpoint of point A, which is 1, 2, and point B, which is 5, 2. And we can see that the midpoint is right here. And by looking at the graph, we know that this point is 3, 2. Now this totally makes sense. The y coordinate is just 2 because the line, it's a straight line, so the y coordinate hasn't changed at all. And the x coordinate, we know we can figure it out if we just add 1 and 5. And divide that by 2. That gives us 6 divided by 2, which gives us an x-coordinate of 3. So now let's look at another example. This time we have A is our point 1, 2, and B is our point 5, 6. We know that the midpoint is right here. The point is 3, 4. As we can see, we followed the same steps. To get the 3, we did the 1 plus 5 divided by 2. That gave us 6 over 2, which gives us 3. And then to get the 4, I'm actually going to write it up here, we can just take the average of the y-coordinates, the 2 and the 6. So 2 plus 6 divided by 2, that's 8 divided by 2, and that gives us 4, which is the y-coordinate of the midpoint. So our midpoint is 3, 4. So let's turn all of these ideas into a formula. What is a midpoint of point A, x1, y1, and point B, x2, y2? Well, if we did the same thing that we have been doing, we take the average of the x-coordinates, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and that gives us the x-coordinate. And then y, we just did y1 plus y2, right? We took this y and found the average of that, and that gave us the y-coordinate. So to put it all together, the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, or the average of the x's, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, which is the average of the y's. Alright, so now let's take our formula and put it into action. The question says, find the midpoint between -1, 2, and 3, -6. I'm going to start by writing out the midpoint formula. Alright, here is my formula. Next, I'm going to plug in. So I know that -1 plus -3 divided by 2, that's for my x-coordinates. And my y-coordinate, we have 2 plus -6 divided by 2. And I just have to solve. So I know that I get -1 plus 3 gives me 2 divided by 2. And for my y-coordinate, I have 2 plus -6, which gives me -4 over 2. I solve that, and I have 0.1, -2. And that's my midpoint. Alright, we are all done. You now know how to use what the midpoint formula is and how to use it. Remember, if you have any questions, please comment on the bottom of this video on Edmodo. That way I know this is something we can address during class. Great job!